Right, hello everybody. It's your drinking buddy, the Meister. I'm here today. I've got a special Christmas present for you. I am interviewing the legendary Mr. Jeff Dunn, aka Mantis, of Venom, Venom Inc, Mantis, etc. Very excited to be meeting with you today. Thank you so much. I can't wait to start chatting with you.
Oh, no problem. Fire away. It's good to be here. Good to be here. Yeah.
Well,
you know, like I've already said, if I talk too much, just say, Jeff, shut the fuck up. Next question.
Nice. No. So I think the big thing I want to talk about first off is you just barely released a killer cover of Dead Daisies Resurrected last week on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Where you did a solo and
Yeah.
First time ever, I believe, right? You're singing. You're the lead singer. You're the singer and playing guitar, and it's incredible. So, what prompted that? What was kind of the catalyst for doing this?
Well, you know, I've had solo projects in the past. You know, I had when I first left Venom in '86, I had the Winds of Change thing, and all the projects have been different. And it's something I've always said. You know, if I step outside of what I'm known for, which is Venom, if I step outside of that, it's pointless doing the same thing. Right. You know, I don't see the point in that. That's why I suppose I respect someone like Corey Taylor. You know, he steps outside of Slipknot, and then all of a sudden you discover this amazing voice he's got. I mean, and that guy can sing. Yeah. Not growl. He can sing. You know, some of the Stone Sour stuff, some of his solo stuff, and he has got a great voice. But still, everybody knows him as Corey from Slipknot. You know, so it's that kind of thing for me. I mean, I've had the that first thing, which was just the first thing I did in '86 was it was a release. It really was. It was just a fun thing to do, and I mean, we all had fun doing it. Then there was the Zero Tolerance thing, which was, bordering on industrial, really. I love all kinds of stuff, so I want to explore it all, And then the band Drill, which was more melodic and, had a little bit of shouting vocals or whatever like that. But the Drill album, which is on sale on the website now, that's with the first singer. And it's just good rock, I think it's just a good rock album, and then I did some stuff with a friend of mine who was actually Abaddon's drum roadie in the early days. We're still in touch now. And he's got a great classic rock and blues voice, and we did a project called Stagnation, which was just all kinds of stuff. I mean, we did swing jazz, that thing's up on the website as well. But the singing side of it, it's always something I've been curious about, because I've sort of done backing vocals, backing shouts. I didn't consider myself a singer. And I thought, you know what, because of the lockdown period and everything, and I had been writing heavily for the new Venom Inc. album. And, I'll just continue to write and write and write and write and write and write. Between myself and Tony, there's 24 songs. And I thought, right, stick a fork in it. We've got some great material there. So, the lockdown period hit, and, we're waiting to get the vocals done for the Venom Inc. album. And I'm a huge fan of the Daisies. I fucking love their stuff. I love all that classic rock, that late 70s, early 80s type fucking rock stuff, I love it, because that's where I'm from. I think people tend to forget, I'm the same. When I discover my heroes are in the late 60s, early 70s now. It's like, holy shit, you forget about this, And I mean, I'm about 4 or 5 months away from being 60, and you tend to forget that, until you get up in the morning and you go, oh, fucking hell, it's like, then you remember how old you are, Right. And I'd always wanted to have a go, and I wanted to know if I had a singing voice and what would it be like. And so that song, Resurrected, it is quite poignant because of what happened 2.5 years ago with the heart attack and, basically being dead for 5 minutes and then coming back. And it just resonated with me, the song itself and the lyrics and all that, you know, I'm back, resurrected. I was like, and I've loved the song for ages and ages and ages. So I learned the guitar parts and I just recorded the first verse. That's all I did. Just recorded the first verse. And I've got a vocal booth over there. So I went into the vocal booth and I had a couple of shots. And I sent that first verse with my vocals on. I put the bass and I had some programmed drums behind it and stuff. And I sent it to two very good friends of mine who I've known for a long time. One is an amazing sound engineer, a studio guy, you know, and he's a really good friend and he's taught me just about everything I know about studio stuff. But he's also very honest. Nice. You know, he would be the first to say, Jeff, give it a rest. That's shit. You know. And the other one was the guy from Stagnation, the singer. You know. And I sent it to the singer from Drill as well. And the reaction back was like, wow, do it. You know. I got some pointers from my studio friend Calais in Germany. You know, some advice and things. And typical of me, then I did some research on YouTube. You know, I was looking at all these vocal tuition things, you know, because I thought, right, I've got that kind of, not a screaming voice, but a bit of distortion in there. So I want to be able to do it without blowing it out, right? You know, so I looked at a few tuition things and, you know, I mean, the studio's pretty well soundproof, but, you know, I don't know what the neighbours must have thought of some of the noises that were coming out of here. But then I got the whole song finished and, you know, the big test really was, did I think it was okay? Because I'm my own worst critic. Right. You know, and I sat back and I thought, you know what? That's not too bad. That's all right, that, you know? I think it's so. I sent it to my friends and they were like, hey, go for it. So there's another cover which I'm going to attempt. I'm not going to say what it is at the moment, by somebody else that I've loved for years. And there's, at the moment in progress, there's probably about 10 originals, which are all in that vein, all in the Daisies sort of rock type vein. But I mean, you know, you can't really do the Daisies anymore because they've got Glenn Hughes in the band. You know, it's like, who the hell's going to sing that? I mean, the new single, Holy Ground, is like, oh my God. Yeah. It's, you know, I mean, that guy's just, I mean, I've been a fan of Hughes since I discovered the Hughes and Thrall album, you know, way back. Yeah. And I mean, you know, the guy's phenomenal. I mean, what he's late 60s, maybe even early 70s or something now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's up, but he's still like got that voice.
Oh, wow. I mean, that voice is incredible. I mean, I've seen him with Black Country Communion a few years back.
Yeah, great.
Oh, and I mean, I love that stuff as well. You know, I mean, that for me is, it's basically where I'm from. You know, like melodies and hook lines and choruses and all that kind of stuff. You know, I still, you know, I come from early Priest, early Kiss. You know, it's like, you know, even Motorhead. I mean, you know, at the moment I'm still heavily involved in writing the book as well. And now that there's a sort of publisher come on board, there's a little bit of pressure on now to sort of get it all ready and stuff. And you know, you have to do. I just didn't realize what was involved in doing it, and you know, tons of research and stuff like that. You know, and going through everything and looking at my influences and things like that, I now realize. And I mean, I've just had a shipment over from England. My daughter sent a load of stuff over that's been in her garage for fucking 6 years now. And one of the things that came over was my green vinyl Overkill.
Oh, sweet.
You know? And I just pulled this out. And, oh, man. And you know what it is? That album, unknown to me, subconsciously, had more of an effect on my early songwriting than a lot of stuff. You know, I mean, Priest was the band that did it on stage. Right. You know, like seeing them in '79, that was it. But yeah, actually, I'm getting off track here. Like, but no, that like I say, the singing thing. I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
So I thought, hey, why not? Why not? You know, I mean, I've always been the one that, you know, when the band's on fire or we're doing stuff, you know, that's it. That's what I'm committed to. I do the band and I do nothing else, you know. And I thought, and especially, like, say, with what happened, I mean, at the beginning of the video, I do say, if I hadn't come back on that day, then none of this would be going on now. You know, there wouldn't be a second Venom Inc. album. You know, I would have went without exploring, doing something like this, you know. And I've always been the one that said, I want to give everything a shot. I don't want to have, you know, if I'm going to be sitting in some old folks' home in 10 years, 20 years' time, and I'm, you know, chasing a fucking pea around a plate or fucking whatever, you know, I'm dribbling into my soup, I don't want to have any regrets, you know. And, you know, like being in the back of an ambulance and coming round with a doctor who's got his hand on your shoulder going, calm, calm. You died. Be calm. You know, when you open your eye to that, is it, whoa. And I mean, my girlfriend, Anita, she witnessed the whole thing, you know. So, yeah, it has a big effect. And you think, you've got to go for it. You've got to go for it. Whatever you want to do, you've just, you know, no such thing as failure. You know, universe is just saying, that's not the way to do it. Try again, you know, because I did try another song first before the Daisies thing, which I thought would be easier, which was fucking impossible. I was like, oh, so hard. Picked the wrong one there. But anyway, you know, now that I've sort of found basically what I can do, I think, yeah, let's go for it. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier, you said that you've got 10 tracks that you've been working. Yeah. So we're gonna see a Mantis solo rock album is what you're saying. Yes?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, why not?
That's exciting. That's really exciting.
Yeah, why not? And I mean, the thing is, I think if I do it, I'll just do all the videos for my YouTube channel with it. I'll have different guests on it playing.
Cool.
And I think probably, I don't even think I'll look for a record company. I'll just think I'll release it through my website. I'll just forego everything else and just put it through there, you know, because, you know, it just complicates things. And, you know, I'm at that age now where I think, well, oh, come on, you know, just, you know I can put it up on the website and just put a price on it and say, there you go, there's the album. You can pick a song if you like a song, because, you know, nobody buys full albums these days, hardly. So, you know, you can either pick a song, and it's the thing, it's like, you know, people will say, well, oh, put it on Spotify, put it on iTunes. It's like, and earn what?
Yeah.
You know, that's what people forget. You know, that's what people forget is, like, I've seen some friends as statements who sell a hell of a lot of fucking things, and then you see how much they're earning.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
You know, I know that they're great platforms for getting recognition and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I think everybody forgets that musicians are ordinary human beings who get up in the morning and have to pay their bills.
Right.
You know, we've all got to do that. So, you know, we've all got to fucking make a living somehow, you know?
Yeah.
So for whatever it is. So that's why I'm exploring all the online stuff now, which I never have done because I'm old school. And, you know, I was talking to this tech guy, well, your mate Sean. I was talking to him, when he says, you know what it is, mate? I said, I'm used to working for a living. You know, it's like, you know, and then you see these fucking kids on YouTube who are multimillionaires. It's like,
yeah, it's got to be a really strange, you know, you come from, as do I, you come from, well, I'm not a musician, but you come from the era of tape trading and from touring to get your name out there. I mean, you know, you look at, I would imagine, you know, Venom, when you're, you know, 19 years old, 20 years old, when you guys first started there in Newcastle, that, yeah, you had to tour so people would even know who the hell you were. I mean, you couldn't you know, there was no internet, there was no, yeah,
Mm.
you know.
It was, you know, do you know what it is? That a lot of people have said that, and basically that's not the way it happened with Venom.
Oh,
It was, the way it happened with Venom was, I firmly believe, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction and destiny, you know, the universal creation and all this kind of stuff. No time for religion, north or south. I don't give a shit about it, whatever it is. But I believe the stars aligned, the world was ready for something, and it just went, boom, there you go. 3 lunatics from fucking Newcastle, Venom. You'll do. That's it. We were fucking lucky. We went from rehearsing in a grotty old church hall in the west end of Newcastle on a Saturday afternoon. The following Saturday, we were in a sports hall in front of about 3,000 kids in Belgium.
wow.
It was that quick. There was no club shows. There was nothing.
Really?
We went from zero to fucking hero overnight. It was that quick. We didn't do a show off the back of Welcome to Hell. We didn't do nothing. It was only, you know, when we were starting to, I think in that show in Popperinga in Belgium, I think we premiered Leave Me in Hell from the second album from Black Metal.
Wow.
And then after that, you know, we get the call to go to America, and we get this little band from the Bay Area coming down to support us called Metallica. And then after that, we actually were the first band to take Metallica into Europe. We did 6 shows in Europe in '84. And then the 7th show was at Hammersmith Audience. And that was our first official British gig, was Hammersmith Audience.
That's wild. That's so cool. I had no idea.
There was no build up. There was no slogging it around in the back of the van or anything like that. It was 0 to hero overnight. And I think that contributed as well to changes in personalities within the band.
Oh,
you know, that amount of instant fame and pressure. I mean, when we were going away in those sort of what you might want to call halcyon times, when we were going away, we were getting the whole what you would call rock star treatment. We had restaurants closed for us because there were so many fans outside. We had police escorts from airports to hotels.
Wow.
From hotel to gig. I've seen police turn up to hotels to move the fans from the hotels. We had all of that, you know. It was like mania. We turned up in Holland, I think it was '83, before we did the '84 tour. We were supposed to play at this Aardschok festival, and I think something had happened with equipment, and we couldn't do it. So we had the Witch in Our Bloodlust video at the time, and the manager had left it back at the hotel, so he told the driver to go back to the hotel to get it. But in the meantime, we had to get into the venue. The fans spotted us and literally broke down the barriers at the bottom end of the field. Came charging up, the fucking car was rocking, and they had to open this. The venue was a big aircraft hangar. They had to open the side doors and drive the car into the venue, into the backstage area, and then shut the venue. The security were there. We got taken straight to rooms out of the way, and then they brought the video in, and there was a big video screen at the side of the hall, and there was the announcement made that Venom can't play tonight because blah 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 blah. But here's the video anyway, and I was standing at the side, and the reaction to the video was unbelievable. It was ridiculous. Wow. And then as soon as that video finished, our manager said, "Right, get on stage and say hello. Just fuck everybody off. It doesn't matter who's there. Just get on stage, grab the microphones, and fucking say hello." So that's what we did. A place erupted. It went absolutely crazy. And I remember, I think it was Kerrang! Magazine, they were reviewing the show. And one of the lines was, "Picture this, Venom hit the stage without playing a note and were treated like gods." And then the following year when we went back, that place was absolutely rammed, sold out.
Nice.
You know, it was absolutely incredible. But I mean, You know, I can remember on that 84 tour walking into Espace Ballade in Paris and just looking around and thinking, fucking hell, is somebody else playing here? You know, are we the warm-up act or what? You know, but no, it wasn't. It was us. We were headlining.
Nice.
You know, so it was literally zero to hero. You know,
That's
it was
exciting.
quick overnight. Yeah, and you know, I think as well, I wouldn't say, well, talking from a personal point of view, I wouldn't say I took it for granted, but it almost seemed that that's what you did.
Right.
You know, you went to a studio, you did a demo, you released a single, and then you did an album, and then you went and played an arena. It was like, oh, this is cool, you know? And that is literally the way it happened for us. But the first single that we put out, I mean, we bugged the hell out of the guy who owned Neat Records to put a single out. And to this day, I mean, I still believe that he pressed up a few copies and threw it out, you know, believing it would sync without a trace. And then he could turn around and go, right, look, you're shit, your band's shit, your music's shit, now fuck off, you know? But look what happened, you know? And I mean, we went in to do some more demos after that single went out. And we were carrying the equipment into the studio. And I remember David Woods in the office. Have you got enough songs for an album, boys? And we were like looking at each other and we were like, yeah. He went, right, you've got 3 days, get in. And that was it. You know, so we had 3 days to record Welcome to Hell. And that was recorded, mixed, mastered, in the fucking bag, ready to go to the shop. You know, and if I mean, anybody who's got this stuff will know that the Welcome to Hell album cover is exactly the same as the first single cover. You know, didn't even have time for artwork. It was like, that'll do. You know, just change it, rub and league with Satan out and stick Welcome to Hell on, that'll do, you know, get it out. And that's the way it went, you know. But I don't think Neat Records realized what was going on. You know, realized how big. I think they realized when the money started coming in, and to this day, I've never seen a royalty statement from Neat Records.
Really?
Never. No. We should have at least gold discs. After nearly 40 years, we should at least have a gold disc.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I mean,
absolutely fucking.
I mean, especially when you look at
not a thing.
The influence that album has had on a multitude of musicians. I mean, it's
I know,
and the sales too. Obviously, that's crazy. That's really crazy. So since we're kind of talking about the past right now, let's go a little further back. What prompted you? What was the catalyst for you to become a guitar player? What do you have a musical family? When did you start playing guitar?
I didn't really take guitar seriously till maybe 16 or 17 years old. Up until that point, from the age of 10, it was martial arts. I mean, martial arts have been all my life. I trained seriously. Seriously, I trained for 41 years.
Wow.
I had my own dojo in Newcastle for 19 years, so I was professional for 19 years. But there was always music in the house. My father was a drummer.
Okay.
He was into the big band swing era and all that kind of stuff. So that was always around, you know. I was always hearing that kind of stuff. And of course, my musical growing up, because I was born in '61, so my musical influences started filtering in the early '70s. And 2 seconds, I can see it there. I'll show you the very first album I ever bought. Okay, as a kid. In fact, there's 2 here I'm going to show you. So, very first album that I bought with my own allowance money was that.
Oh, sweet. I love T-Rex.
T-Rex. Oh, I fucking love it. Love T-Rex. I mean, the tracks on here. I mean, Ride a White Swan, Deborah, Child Star, Cat Black. Where's the other? King of the Rumbling Spires. I mean, I absolutely love that. But I mean, you know, there's things I'll say about this in a minute. And then I would say, aside from T-Rex, I would say my first real favorite band, like guitar, bass, drums, vocals, was Slade.
Oh yeah,
I was really into Slade. I remember my father bought me the album Slade, Slayd. And I mean, I had everything that Slade did. The first guitar solo I can ever remember, really, apart from Ride a White Swan, I think the first thing was out of the track Look What You Done by Slade with Dave Hill. But here's the thing. Years and years later, I discovered another band. And I remember being in a department store with my mum. And she went off to, in those days, they had this loyalty scheme. I'm going back to the 70s again, right? They had this loyalty scheme where you got these like little dividend stamps and things, and then you could trade them for items in the store, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You spend like 3,000 quid and you get £1 back or something like that, you know, one of those things, you know. Anyway, she saved these things over the years, and she went off to do something with this. And this department store literally sold everything. If it wasn't in this department store, it didn't exist. It was simple as that. And they had a small vinyl section. And I went to the vinyl section because I was really into my records and stuff. So I'm looking through all these records, and I pulled this record out. And I was just staring at this thing. And it was a beaten up old copy as well. So it'd obviously been there for years. And, you know, the people who were on the front, I was just looking, going, wow. And it was gatefold, so I opened it up like that, and it was a double live album. It was Kiss Alive.
Oh, nice.
And so I was like, wow. And I looked at the price. So into the pocket, and I'm, you know, counting out all its small change and everything, and I didn't have enough money for it. I was like, oh, no. I put it back, and what I've got in my hand here is the original copy that I picked out after it. It's only a single album, but I could afford this one.
Oh, nice.
So this was my introduction to Kiss.
Very
you know, and that is the album that I bought in that department store when I was there with Mum. So it was always, I suppose, if you like, it was always guitar-driven bands. Anything with a guitar in. And then me and my friend, we used to go anywhere to see any band, you know, like sneak into pubs and stuff because we were too young. And first band I ever seen live would probably have been 77, 78. And that was Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, cool.
I mean, I was lucky enough to see Rory Gallagher, you know.
Nice.
Just every band that came to Newcastle, we would go and see. And it was when I started training in Taekwondo in 1976, February the 11th, 1976, I started Taekwondo. And it was a new club, and Taekwondo was new into the Northeast. It was a new martial art. So everybody had went to this sports hall to sign up. And there was a lot of people there. This was the mid to getting to the mid-late 70s, where martial arts, Kung Fu, Bruce Lee was huge in England, you know. So everybody's there signing up to start this Taekwondo. I ended up training in Taekwondo for 15 years off the back of that. But another big life-changing event was at that Taekwondo club, I met the guy who I started Venom with. And that was a guy called Dave Rutherford. He was a couple of years older than me. And everybody was just making new friends. And I think that the club itself, we trained twice a week. And there was about 60 people in this club. So it was a big martial arts session, you know. Most of the sports hall was taken over by it. So, you know, there'd be a group of people who had made friends over here, a group of people over there. There was a little group over here, which was me, Dave, a guy called Tommy, a girl called Liz. But Dave was into Deep Purple. And he had a guitar, you know. So we started talking. It was basically, what do you like apart from fucking kicking people in the head, you know. So apart from kicking people in the head, I love guitar, you know. It's like, brilliant, yeah. So at that point, I had a copy Stratocaster, this white thing. My first guitar was a copy SG. It was cherry red. It had one single humbucker in it.
Oh, wow.
It cost about £30, and that was new from the music store. And I had a 10-watt Fender Champ, I think it was, something like that.
Nice.
And then I really went for it because I got a big blue fuzz pedal, a CSL fuzz pedal, which added distortion for me. But yeah, me and Dave, we started just going to each other's houses and listening to music and then just jamming together. You know, we didn't even know if we were in tune together. We knew nothing about tuning up together or anything like that. It was just, you know, let's just play some guitar. And then we would go to other people's houses. You know, we'd find somebody who played drums or something like that. And then there was another friend of mine called Alan. He bought a bass guitar, and we used to go around for a while. And then we were all going to these gigs and stuff. And then, like I say, 1979, Judas Priest, Newcastle City Hall. Newcastle City Hall's strange because in 1976, I seen a taekwondo demonstration at Newcastle City Hall, and it was given by the guy who went on to be my taekwondo mentor.
Oh, wow.
Right. And then in 1979, I seen the band who changed my fucking life and put me on the path of being a band, and that was Judas Priest. And one man responsible for all that was KK Downer. Yeah. So
well, obviously you're saying he was kind of the big, as far as a guitar hero, he was the guy.
At that point. I mean, if someone, I mean, KK was the massive influence. Everything about it. I mean, you know, the flying. I mean, I went out, I bought the Flying V, I bleached the blonde hair, the whole fucking lot, you know.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, KK to me was like the epitome of the English heavy metal guitarist. You know, back then he just looked, I was like, fucking hell, I want to be like that guy. You know, everybody's got that moment, you know. I think for KK it was Hendrix, you know. But for me, you know, obviously it was KK, you know. But I think my all-time favorite guitarist, if someone said you can only listen to one guitarist for the rest of your life, it would be Gary Moore.
Oh, I love Gary Moore. His tone alone is, man.
Oh, I mean, I've seen Gary Moore live so many times, and I was lucky enough to see him shortly before he passed away.
Oh, cool.
Me and actually the guy I was talking about before, the singer from Stagnation, we went to see him. He did a blues show. It was just a really civilized sit-down blues show at Newcastle City Hall. I mean, he came on stage with a couple of old Marshall Plexis, Marshall 412, small selection of pedals at the front, and that Les Paul. And, you know, it was just like unbelievable. I mean, I still have got everything that he's ever done, you know. If he played on someone's album, I would buy the album just because he had played on it, you know.
That was amazing. Yeah. His work with Thin Lizzy too. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Everything. I mean, I've still got, so I've got 3 guitar cases there that were sent over, and my daughter put some vinyls and stuff in them. And in one of the cases, I've still got the G-Force picture disc.
Oh, no.
From when he did G-Force. I loved all that. And I don't think there's a single period of his career that I don't like. I like everything that he's ever done.
Yeah,
everything.
Right there with you, man. That's amazing stuff.
Incredible.
Let's switch gears completely for a second, because if I don't ask you this, I'll get in big trouble from my wife. So you are a massive animal lover, as is my wife. So I know you've saved quite a few animals, right? From you've got multiple cats and a dog, and you've raised money. So
Mhm.
would you talk about that a little bit? I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, basically, I mean, I've had cats since I was a kid. My mom always had a cat, and then I remember, and they were always rescues as well. They always came from a shelter, or we just found them in the garden or whatever, you know. And cats choose their owners as well, you know. So,
Yeah.
and then I remember as a kid, I went crazy for a dog. So we went to the shelter and we got a dog. But the dog became my mum's dog. It was just adored my mother, absolutely adored my mum. But yeah, I've always had animals right away throughout. Oh God, all my life. I even right here we go. Right. I used to live in a little coastal town called Blythe, and I used to go to the local pet store to get my cat food and things because at that point I had Fred and Barney. Barney had 4 legs, but he could only use 3. He had one which was up here at the back.
Wow.
So his nickname was Tripod, but his name was Barney. And we had Thumper, who had he had 9 toes on each feet. He was the freakiest cat you ever seen, but the personality of that cat was unbelievable. But I used to go to this little pet store to get the food and things, and I went in one day, and I knew the guy because I'd been living there for a while, and I was just chatting away to him, and he said to me, he says, "You don't want a hamster, do you?" I went, "Hamster?" I was like, "Why?" So he took me to this cage, and there was a one-eyed white hamster, right? He says, "Nobody wants him. Nobody's going to buy him. Nobody wants him." And watch this. He put his hand towards the cage. Yeah, fucker. It was the most vicious little motherfucker you've ever seen. Right? It was a fucking psycho, right? He said, "I'll tell you what. You buy a cage. I'll give you a load of food and stuff, and you can take the hamster." I went, "Go on then." Right? So I took it. Right? I had that hamster for 3 years, and he was the loveliest little thing. He used to sit up here. Brilliant. And there was another day I went to a garden centre for some reason, and they had a pet section. So if there's a pet section, I'm there. I'll go around and have a look, you know. So anyway, I went into this little section. There's all these little cages, and I thought, "Oh, hamster! I'll have a look at the hamsters and whatnot," because I still had my hamster. And there was mice, right? So I seen this little mouse that was sitting on top of one, you know, those little water bottles that they have.
Oh yeah.
You know, the little drinking bottles. So he was on top of the bottle, and his tail was bleeding. I was like, "What the fuck's going on there?" And then all of a sudden, underneath the sort of sawdust and everything, I could see the other mice, and then they all came out, and they were trying to get this one on the top. So I went to the desk and I said, "I think one of your mice is getting beaten up or something. You know, all the other mice are picking on it." So it was like, "Okay, we'll have a look." So I just left it at that. I mean, this was about, I don't know, 30 miles away from where I lived. I got halfway home and I thought, you know what, fuck it. I turned the car around, I went back, got the fucking mouse, come back home. And the cat I was telling you about, Barney, when one of the houses that I lived in, we lived beside a nature reserve. So it was all open fields and things. And one day, Barney came into the street. And I was looking, I was saying, "What the fucking hell's he got?" So he came in, I opened the front door, and he just sat there. You know, this cat with 3 legs, and he just went, and he just spat this thing on the ground. And this little thing was lying there with a little baby rabbit. I was like, "How the fuck did you catch a rabbit?" You know, I mean, because if you've seen Barney run, Barney couldn't run in a straight line because he had 3 legs. He ran in a curve, like that, right? So anyway. So it was a wild baby rabbit. So what did the idiot do? I went straight to the pet store. I bought a hutch. I bought the fucking sawdust. I bought everything. And I raised that rabbit until it was an adult. Then I took it back to the nature reserve and released it.
Wow.
Fucking hell. But the cat thing over here, there's so many. I mean, I've heard so many things about people, because over here in the villages we have these big, you know, the refuse collections, the big bins and things, the trash cans that you just go there and put your stuff in. I've heard so many tales of people opening those and just hearing like meow, and you know, there's a bag there with fucking kittens in and stuff like that, you know. So all my cats are rescues. I mean, one of them, Garfield, the little ginger one, he was nearly dead. We'd got him to the vets, and he had so many ear mites and things that the vet thought, he says, he's probably deaf at the moment. He can't hear a thing. He could hardly see. His eyes were all gunked up. He had conjunctivitis. He was riddled with fleas and worms and dehydrated, malnutritioned. And he's the most beautiful cat now. He's absolutely gorgeous. And then another one called Bobby that we've got. We found him in the gutter. He would literally sit in your hand. He was tiny little thing. We've just seen him. His head was sticking out. We've got these big drains things at the side of the road over here. And we've just seen this little thing sitting there. So it was like, right, you, come here. So we took him home. He is fucking huge now. He's massive. So there's 8 of them live up at the house. But they've got a room to themselves at the back of the house. And the window's always open. And they can come into the garden, but they're enclosed. So they can't... Because we had another 2, but they got killed at the roadside. Because sometimes it's a village, but sometimes you get fucking idiots going through it it's like a rally. So we've lost 2 at the roadside. So we thought, no, never again. So they've got the freedom to roam, but they're still enclosed, so they're safe. And then we came back from vacation. We'd been down to the Algarve to see Anita's daughter. We came back from vacation, and we've got a rescue dog as well. So I took the dog out into the back garden, came down to the studio just to check everything. And then I heard the dog going, meow, 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 meow. I was like, what the fucking hell is she doing? So I shouted, Lexi, no, she would not come. So I went up to see what she was doing, and she was just bouncing around and just staring at the roof of, we've got like a wood shed. She was staring at the roof. I said, what the fuck's up there? 2 tiny little kittens. Somebody's obviously dumped the fuckers. So I've now got 2 kittens that live in the back garden as well. They're probably sitting outside the studio now. They love coming into the studio, so I've raised those. They're beautiful cats now. One of them, though, one called Ozzy and the other one called Tiger. Tiger's a little female, but she's still very frightened, so she won't come too close. If you try to touch her, boom, she's away. But they're doing well, so I've built a little house and things for them. But I hope at some point, I'm just going to leave her to her own devices. Ozzy's so friendly. But once I can get both of them together, get them to the vets, get them checked over, then they can join the rest of the cats. So that there's 10 of them there. Wow. And with the sanctuary, which is just up the road, everything that I sell on my website, whether it's a T-shirt that I've designed or it's music, whatever, right now, at the moment, 25% of everything goes straight to the shelter. I just go buy food. I take it up. I've just done a video of us taking some food up to the shelter there.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great.
So hopefully next week, just before Christmas, we'll do the same. They want cleaning products. The shelter is huge. There is hundreds of animals up there. And we just got the news last night that they have just taken in a dog which was run over and left at the side of the road. Oh. And he needs surgery on his back legs, and it's going to cost €600. So they're wanting donations. So tomorrow I'm going to put up an actual donation page on my website where you can just hit the button and the money goes straight to their PayPal.
Nice.
It'll take you straight to the shelter site. So there'll be 2 buttons on there. There'll be one to donate, where the money will be split equally between the shelter, which is 5 minutes drive from me, so it's really close. So it'll be split between them, and I'm going to extend mine so I can take some more cats in as well. Cool. But there will be a button which takes you straight to their site, and 100% will just go straight to them for this dog because he needs an operation. €600 it's going to cost. So, we're going to get the money there. We're going to raise it for them anyway.
That's really cool. That's really amazing that you do that. That's fantastic.
Well, do you know what it is? I've got on the computer, because I'm not the kind of guitarist that comes in the studios and sit down and practices scales for 8 hours a day. I'm not like that. You know, all hail to people who do that, but it's just not me. If I'm coming in here, I want to write something. I want to write a song. I want to do an instrumental. I want to do something. I want to be creative, you know. And I've got so much stuff sitting on hard drives, you know, like instrumentals, like ballads. There's all kinds of stuff. I've just done a ballad with the second singer from Drill.
Cool.
And this ballad's called The Voiceless, and that is going to go up. And this is the voice. It's for the animals. This song is everything's going to go to the shelter for the animals for this one. But I thought, I've got all this stuff sitting there. What am I going to do with it? You know, keep it under the bed and it gathers dust, or just get it out there. And if somebody wants to buy a song for €1, great. And then we can buy a tin of cat food and take it down for the shelter, you know? Because the shelter at the moment, they are struggling because of the COVID. Because normally in Portugal, around our area, there's a big market culture, you know, where artisans and crafts people and stuff like that, everybody goes and, you know, they sell their crafts and things like that. That's how some people make a living over here. And the shelters go out and they sell stuff to raise money just for blankets and food and medication. But of course, there's nothing like that going on at the moment. Everything's just shut down because of the pandemic. So the shelters are struggling a hell of a lot. I honestly don't know how this one is surviving. It is massive. You know, the walk around that I did on the video, it was like, we got around the back and I was about to turn back and the woman went, oh, no, more. Went around the corner. Holy shit. You know, so the animals were just everywhere, you know. So, and like I say, I was talking to these two women who run it, and you know, it was just like, wow, you know, right? Anything we can do to help, you know. At the same time, you know, because you know, essentially, you know, I'm a working musician as well, so everybody's thinking like, fuck, you know, what are we gonna do? You know, I mean, I think, you know, the people who are sitting pretty or you know, who are riding this out are the people who have, you know, they've made it, and it doesn't matter if they never go out again. You know, that kind of stuff. And hey, all power to them. That's great. They've done their work. You know, they deserve that. Yeah. Okay, I can chill out now. You know, but you know, we've got to do something to help ourselves and to help everybody else. And that's my thing. It's just helping the animals. You know, so that's great. You know, if anybody wants to, just go to the website. It's the website, simple, jeffmantas.com. Cool. There you go. That's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Let's switch gears again a little bit. So you mentioned earlier, you and Tony have been writing new material. So I'll hold this up real quick. This album, fucking amazing. And the idea that I'm so happy there's a follow-up coming. I cannot wait. I talked to Tony a couple weeks ago, or I guess it was last month, and he mentioned that things were happening. You're probably too early in terms of a release date at this point for the follow-up album. Do you have an idea of kind of when it will happen, or
no?
So you're still in the writing process, right? Or
no. For me, definitely the writing process is over.
Okay.
That's it. I'm not, there's 24 songs sitting there now. And all of those songs are now at the preliminary mix stage.
Oh, cool.
So all we're waiting for is vocals. That's it. See, usually, like when we did Ave, Tony comes to Portugal, to my studio, and does vocals here, and we do the lyrics together, or, you know, if I've got a full set of lyrics, and if he's got a full set of lyrics, you know, and I'll record his vocals. But obviously it's been a bit different this time, so we don't know what's going to happen yet. But it's pointless me saying, yes, it's going to be out by spring, it's going to be out by summer. It's a waste of time saying that, you know. It is going to be out when it's out. It's as simple as that. But, you know, everybody will get to know about it. But the stuff is sounding great. I mean, I do a Facebook Live every Monday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. UK time. And for the past couple of weeks, I've been playing a song from the new album, just in its first mixed form, you know. The reactions have been great so far, and I'm really happy with the stuff. And I mean, you know, 24 songs, there's obviously not going to be 24 songs on the album, but I made a list of 12 that I think we should concentrate on.
Cool.
So if it came down to a push, if there was any sort of like, if Nuclear Blast turned around and went, okay, we want the album in 3 months' time, it would be right. Okay, these 12, right? Boom, boom, boom. Let's do those, and then we've got time to do it. If we complete all 24, I quite like the idea of just sending all of them to Nuclear Blast and saying, choose the album, pick the album, put it out. You know, I've never had anybody else, like a record company or anybody, I've never had anybody choose the album for me. You know, so they might have a different idea. You know, they might pick a couple of songs where I go, really? You know, but hey, whatever. I don't know.
Would you consider doing a double album?
We actually spoke. We talked about that, and then it was like, well, no, I don't know. I don't know if it would just be too tiring for people. You know, maybe.
No. I would, me personally, I would be ecstatic. That would be amazing. That last album, just, well, and shit, I mean, the Tony era Venom stuff is some of my favorite music ever. I mean, Primeval, that is brilliant. That album is brilliant. Just genius. And M-Pire of Evil is just killer. I mean, it's amazing stuff.
Yeah, so, I love the M-Pire stuff. Yeah. There's still a lot of M-Pire material sitting there on the hard drive, which was for the second album. Yeah, before, and then all of a sudden, you know, the Venom Inc. thing kicked off. Here's a bit of interesting trivia for you: that Dein Fleisch was written 3 years before Avia was released.
Really? Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yes.
Cool. Nice. Very cool.
Yes, I wrote that song 3 years previous, and it was for the second Empire. And it was John Zazula who had said, have you got anything which is like radically different, you know? And I thought of Dein Fleisch straight away. And at the same time, Tony had thought of Dein Fleisch. He's a little bit more impulsive than me, so he sent it straight to John.
Nice.
And John, at that point, it didn't have vocals on. So John was like, right, okay then, go to Portugal, do some vocals, do the demos, get them back to me. And Dein Fleisch was one of the songs Nuclear Blast went, yeah. Cool. And that was it. Yeah, so, yeah, it was good. It was good, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of, there was quite a bit of stress around that album as well, especially when it came down to the drum side of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you know, we had to, you know, there had to be a decision made, and it was like, yeah, so all the drums on the album are the original program drums that I did, albeit that edited better and stuff like that, you know, but what we received was, you know, I was like, no, sorry,
too bad.
Sorry, yeah. No. So anyway, water under the bridge now. Right. It's all done. But still, I mean.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, you know, the stuff that Jeremy sent across, you know, every time I've opened a folder with his drums in and just lined everything up, and it's like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem at all. Yeah. Total professional. Yeah. Really, really good. The only thing I had to do with Jeremy was tell, just, you know, like on both on the technical side and on not so much on the playing side, you know, but I did say to Jeremy, just be yourself. I'm not after you trying to be fucking whatever. You don't have to fit in with anything, you know. Right. You can just do what you do, you know. But sometimes on the technical side, it was like on the recording and things like that, you know, I was like, don't overcomplicate it. You know, we're not Dream Theater, it's fucking Venom. You know, it's like, So I think on every track that I've got, I think I've only got nine or 10 drum tracks, something like that. I asked Jeremy to mix each individual drum as he heard it, and then send it to me, and then I would blend it in with the kit, with the rest of the stuff, you know. So it's all sounding really good. It's all sounding good. It's probably the cleanest production I've ever done as well.
Oh, really?
You know, guitars, bass, everything like that. But it's you'll just have to hear it. It's got so much power behind it. It's like, you know. But like I say, everything's dialed back. You know, like like gain, all that kind of stuff. You know, it's like I've gone more for a fucking punch in the face than a fucking, you know, like a razor blade taking the top of your head off, which my guitar sound used to be like.
No, that's
no, I just want everybody to hear it. You know, it's and again, because I've had the time, you know, I've taken the time with it, and there's still a lot more to do, obviously, but being another learning curve, you know, like as they say, every day is a school day. You know, you never stop learning. So.
Right. So I wanted to ask you sort of maybe a philosophical question to some degree, or esoteric at least. So a friend of mine, when I told him I was interviewing you, he's a massive fan of your guitar work. He's a guitar player as well, and you're probably the influence for him. You are his KK Downing.
Wow.
And he asked me, when I told him I was going to be talking to you, he asked me, well, would you ask him a question for me? I'm like, oh yeah, of course, I'd love to. He said, I've kind of a weird question. I'm like, sure, yeah, that's great. He's like, ask him if he was, if Mantis was stuck in a Groundhog Day kind of situation, if he could choose what time in his musical period that he would relive over and over again, what would that be?
Wow.
Yeah.
Good question. Okay. Oh, no. I'm trying to think back to a happy time of Venom. Is that possible? The two big highlights for me of Venom, rather than going on about other stuff that I've done, go with the Venom thing. I mean, 1984 Hammersmith Audience was a massive thing for us. That was a huge, huge thing. And that was a sort of really a we have arrived point.
Right.
You know, I mean, there was so many things went wrong behind the scenes in that concert that people don't know about, you know. I'll tell you a couple in a minute. There's a couple of stories, but I mean, it was the whole thing was bit apart from the lighting rigs and all the pyrotechnics and stuff like that, obviously, but the whole thing was DIY as well. You know, the big ramps which are at the side of the stage with the 666 on. I was painting those in a friend's garden. Really? As the truck turned up to pick them up to take them down to London. You know, wow. So the paint dried in the truck on the way down, and it was a time where we were at that point 84. That particular period, Hammersmith Audience, we just seemed to be, you know, I think all the wheels were steering in the same direction, you know, at that point. And I remember convening at the manager's house. We were all still living at home, you know. So the manager, Eric, who was essentially our friend, he was still living at home, and we convened at his house because he was the only one with a video player and video recorder at that point. And we got the master tape, the master VHS of the Hammersmith Audience show, which had been filmed. So this was the whole concert, warts and all. There was no overdubs. There was fuck all on this. It was everything. Right. But I mean, you know, we were sitting there watching it and the pyros and everything like that. And it was just like, wow, you know, it was like, fucking hell, rewind that, rewind. You know, it was like, we were like excited kids, you know? Yeah. But I mean, I suppose there's that period of time, which was great. But like I say, that particular concert.
Nice.
And I think the other one, maybe Dynamo, or the Metal Invader Festival that we did when the original lineup got back together.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I mean, everything seemed amazing. But then, you know, the old wounds started opening again, and everybody, you know, it fell apart as quick as it got back together. I mean, that Dynamo concert, it took, I think it was 3 years to get us to agree to do that, year after year after year. But I mean, that was an achievement as well, doing Dynamo.
Yeah.
And like I say, the Metal Invader was probably the better band-wise of the two. You know, that was a really good. But I mean, that's a great question. But I mean, you know, the excitement, I suppose, as well, of recording your first album and then seeing it in the shops. You know, all that kind of. You know, I mean, even for black metal, I can remember myself and Kronos taking covers, the black metal covers, taking them to the local record stores in Newcastle and making our own displays in the shop.
Wow.
You know. So that whole thing, and I mean, even, you know, you go further back when we were still a 4-piece and we had Clive Archer on vocals. And, you know, those early times where you were so enthusiastic and, you know, the belief in yourself was just, you know, it was unshakable. You know, it was, and sometimes that's hard to get back. And I suppose something like that would be nice to just relive and, you know, just keep going through. But that's a hell of a question, that. Like, but I honestly don't think I can pinpoint one. I mean, if somebody put a gun to my head and said, you know, you've got to, you'd have to. Right. But off the top of my head, you know, those times there, when you think this is it, you know, for a band anyway, you know, it's incredible. But, you know, that Hammersmith thing, when I said there was things that went on, you know, if you watch the Hammersmith Audience 84, the Seventh Gate of Hell video, when we do Seven Gates of Hell, the song, and the camera cuts to Abaddon and he's playing, and you can see him going, fuck off, get off, and he's screaming at the camera. That's because the cameraman had jumped onto the riser, which was hydraulic, and he had unbalanced the whole thing. And this is the front of the riser. It was going up like that. Oh, so Abaddon was sliding off the back of the riser.
Oh my God.
Our road crew were behind that riser, pushing it up to keep everything going.
Wow.
You know? So there was there was loads. I mean, I think I've recounted everything in the book, so I'll not say too much. But there was some real spinal tap moments on that concert. Real.
Speaking of the book, when is that scheduled for publication?
Oh God, next. All I'm going to say is next year. At some point next year. I'm a good way through it, but you know, then because I've written it the way I speak, and that is, I'll be on a subject, and I'm going down the road like that, and I'll say something down this road. Oh, what's down there? You know, and I'll, you know, something will spark something else off, and then I'll get back on the road again. Like, oh yeah, what I was saying before. So I've written the book like that, and it's not going to be in sort of chronological order as well. You know, I've just written it as it's remembered, and so it's all. But one of the most interesting chapters is a chapter called Legions, Iron and Steel, and it's all and it's open to anybody, right? So anybody who's watching this, you're a Venom fan, and you want to contribute, how you discovered the band, what the band means to you, whatever it is, right? But this chapter, Legions, Iron and Steel, is written completely by the fans.
Oh.
You know, totally unedited. So anybody, I don't care who you are, if you're a Venom fan, like, you can submit something, right? And if you want to, I think the easiest way of doing it right now is there's a contact page on my website, jeffmantas.com. Go to the contact page, and in the subject field, just put Mantis book, tell me who you are, and give me your story about Venom.
Cool.
You know?
Very cool. That's
so
exciting.
any stories long, short, whatever, you know, they'll go in, you know, and they'll go in unedited. I'm not gonna touch anybody's words or anything like that. So make sure you spell everything right. But no, it's a really interesting chapter because there's some of the stories I've got back from people, and just fans as well. It's like, you know, some of the stories are incredible, an amazing thing, you know. So, yeah, but it's all just written by the fans. And it's like, hey, this is your bit, you know. Tell the world what you think of the band, you know.
Nice.
So, like I say, contact page, my website, Mantis book. Tell me your name, and that's it. And write your story.
That's
There you
exciting.
go.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, you know, obviously your own studio, ZFT studio, your studio, and you do mixing, you do mastering, you do production.
Yeah.
You know, obviously your own music, but you're doing stuff for other people as well, right?
Yeah, I've done a few bits and pieces. I would like to get into it more, and I've done session work for people as well, like guitar stuff. And yeah, it's something I would like to get into. The mixing and mastering side, I do with my mentor in Germany, Calais. We work together on that.
Cool.
So any band who wants mixing or mastering things like that, like all we require obviously is just the WAV files, and we'll do the mix, whatever you want. But you know, we do it together. And like I say, it's a massively competitive field. But I would love to get into it more. You know, I find it fascinating.
Now, was Callie? He was the bass player, correct? On your, is that who played bass on?
Yeah. That's Callie. That's his studio in Germany. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he was also the bass player in Drill.
Oh.
Now I met Calais in 2005 when I was playing session guitar for Scooter. He's been their out front sound man for God knows how many years, about 20 years or something now. So I met him on that first tour that I did with them. I did a world tour, 2005 to 2006. Started in Germany, in Hanover, and finished in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia.
Wow.
Which was
which was
a bit of a journey.
Yeah, that's definitely a big wow, that's incredible. That's
really
cool.
It was good. It was really good. I mean, playing when I got the call to do it, I was like, oh, I don't know about this, you know, because it's hardcore techno music, you know. I was like, oh, I don't know, you know. And then all of a sudden, it was that thing that I said, that little thing of mine kicked in and went, hey, are you going to regret this later on and wonder what would have happened, you know? So it was like, yeah, okay. So we did a 16-day European tour, which went really well. I mean, I remember the first show I did, I was looking at the audience thinking, oh, wow, what are they going to think of some maniac with a Mohican and a fucking guitar, you know?
Right.
But it was really well received. It was excellent. It was so much fun. And the guys themselves, they were great. I mean, the strange thing is they're all rock fans as well. But yeah, I started in Hanover. And I remember I was standing side stage waiting to go on. And I was thinking, oh, this is either going to go really well or I'm getting the first flight home tomorrow. But I ended up doing a full year, did the world tour with them. So we ended up in Ulaanbaatar in a football stadium, rammed. Wow. Football stadium, full of fucking ravers. It was incredible. And I mean, they use a lot of pyrotechnics. I mean, I had rockets firing off my guitar and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, okay, Ace Frehley stuff. It was great. I loved it. Frehley. So they used a lot of pyros, you know, but they couldn't transport pyro to Mongolia, obviously. So when we got there was just all these huge boxes of Chinese fireworks everywhere. Oh, wow. And the pyro show was just about 20 Mongolian guys running around the stage with matches lighting these things. Holy shit. It was chaos. It was great. But no, I've got really, really fond memories of that. It was brilliant. So much fun. But like I say, I met a friend for life there as well with Calais, you know, so, and we've worked together ever since, you know. And Calais was, he assisted with the mix and the editing on Arvia as well. So
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So no, he's a bit of a genius in the studio, that guy. So
Nice.
you know, anything he does, I trust his judgment 100%. You know.
Is he
So
involved with
yeah,
the new album at all, or will he be?
with the new Venom Inc. album,
Yeah.
he may well be. He may well be. Yeah, I mean that was the plan to bring him in the same capacity as he was in Arbe. But obviously, I mean that was he flew from Germany over here to Portugal, and Tony came, so that all three of us were together at the same time. But obviously now we don't know what's going on, and Germany's just went into a massive lockdown.
Oh,
So yeah, and London tonight has just went into fucking total lockdown.
oh wow.
Absolutely. There, I mean, the highest thing that they had over in England was tier 3. London's just been declared tier 4.
Oh wow.
Like, so London apparently has just went shut down. That's it. Fucking stay where you are.
Yeah, hopefully
So,
we'll get past this in the near future. I mean, because I desperately want to see Venom Inc. live. I missed you guys when you came. So I live in Utah. I missed you guys when you came to Salt Lake last time. I wasn't able to go to the show. But I was telling, it's funny, I was telling Tony, when I talked to Tony last month, I watched, so when I've been working from home since April. And when I get off work, I go and ride a stationary bike, and I'll watch videos to keep me going. And I watched the Venom Inc. playing Bloodstock in 2018, and that kicked my ass.
yeah.
I started riding to the rhythm, and just I overdid it. And I told him I fucking about had a heart attack myself because I was like riding too fast because I was so into the show and like raising my fists and just, yeah, it was great. But man, it about killed me because you guys just tore it up. That was one of the best shows I've watched on a video ever, like bar none. That was phenomenal.
Wow,
that Bloodstock show was incredible.
Yeah.
You guys tore it up.
The Bloodstock show was 10 weeks after I had major heart surgery.
That's amazing. I don't even know how
Neither do I.
Yeah. And what's so cool about that show too is, I mean, it's so high energy, and the way you guys, the three of you, how you feed off of each other is incredible. You're one of the best live acts I think out there. I mean, you have to be. You're so in terms of metal, in terms of
the thing that I like about us at the moment is, we are essentially what Lemmy used to say: we're more ahead and we play rock and roll. And it's like, we're Venom, we play fucking metal. And it's plug and play. I remember standing on that stage standing on Bloodstock. It was our turn to go on. We didn't have any crew with us at all. We never take crew, set everything up ourselves. So I'm standing there, I've got a little pedal board and just put it at the front of the stage. I'm just wandering about, plugging things in, And one of the crew comes over and like, oh, what do you know? Well, Marshall JCM 900s, what I always ask for. Yeah, we've got those. How many do you want? I says, well, full stack, spare stack. Oh, we'll put everything on. Right, great. Okay, so put it on, plugged it in, and put it on to standby, adjusted my settings. He went, I'll help you with your tone and all that. I went, done, thank you. And that was it. We're a plug and play band. But the thing is, honestly, I'm waiting for that one time where they say, okay, what do you need? The pyros, the fucking drops, the fucking this, that, there. And then we're killing it just as a fucking walk on stage and play a band, but give us the show. I mean, there's a lot of bands around these days who have got the full productions and everything like that. And it just makes me wonder. I mean, and I can't say anything against it really because I'm a huge Kiss fan, okay? But it just makes me wonder that if you took the costumes and the production and everything, take that all away and put them on the same stage with a 412 and an amp.
Yeah.
Are they going to cut it? Are they going to do it? And I think we've spent the last 5 years doing that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in those 5 years, 2015 up until, I mean, the last show we did was Wacken Festival, August the 11th, 2019. That was the last show we did. Up until that point, from April 2015, we probably hit 400 or 500 shows, something like that. We just kept going and going and going and going and going. But there's got to come a point where you think, okay, I've played this venue 6 times now, right? Where are we going? Where are we going from here? You know? And I'll be honest as well, as a live act, I think there's a few bands who are wary of us that we wouldn't get support slots with. You know, I mean, I don't know, that might sound a little egotistical, and I'm sorry if it does, because I've got no ego at all. I don't give a shit about what people say. It's like, you know, oh, the founder of Black Metal, this, that, and the other. It's very nice and it's very flattering. But at the same time, as I've always said, kid from Newcastle who wrote some tunes and some people dig them. I'm fucking lucky. It's as simple as that. But even San Francisco, when was that? On part of the American tour, it was probably 2000, I don't know, maybe 2016, I don't know, can't remember, maybe in 17. Playing in San Francisco, who's up in the balcony, headbanging, singing, fucking air guitar, and all the way through the show, James Hetfield, you know? And, you know, after the show, I'm sort of putting my guitar back in its case, you know, wiping it down. No crew, you know, I'm still in my stage clothes, you know, wiping everything down. Not taking any notice of anything that's going around, you know, trying to get a little bit of space in a fucking dressing room where there's like fucking 30 people. And all I hear was, "Hey, Jeff!" You know, it's like, I was like, "Oh, fucking hell." Fucking James Hetfield, you know, it's like, fucking hell after all that time, you know. Yeah. But when we got the word he was coming, and he came down with another friend of ours called Stefan Shirazzi. And I remember going to the front of the stage, and I can't remember what song we were playing, but I just looked up at the balcony and Hetfield's like this. Like, fucking hell, fucking James Hetfield. That was surreal. That was fucking so weird, yeah. But great, yeah. And really nice guy as well. Really nice guy. I like James a lot. Really nice guy.
Well, and I think, you know, a lot of those bands, like, you know, Metallica, they owe you a debt of gratitude. I mean, you know, you, especially as a guitar player, you defined a lot. I mean, you defined my childhood in a lot of ways, that's for sure. So, I mean, I think, you know, say whatever you want about Venom, that band changed the climate of music in a lot of ways in the early 80s and beyond. Obviously, for me, definitely beyond. Yeah, super important. You guys were a super important band to a lot of people, I think. So, and definitely for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a heavy weight to bear. I get that question a lot. You know, like, how does it feel knowing, you know, the impact and the influence that Venom has had? You know.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming. Sometimes it's just hard to take in.
Yeah,
you know.
I would imagine. I mean, those early years. I mean, hopefully this doesn't sound disrespectful in any way, but you were a fucking kid. You were a child.
Yeah.
Like, you guys were kids. You were like 19, 18 years old. You were children, basically. You know.
Yeah.
And you changed metal completely. I mean, you revolutionized music in a lot of. I mean, that's got to be profoundly. You revolutionized music. Sorry, I'm getting a little excited.
No.
But I mean, yeah, you changed music completely, and it's got to be weird. And I think that's one of the things I respect a lot about you specifically, is that you don't have this ego about that. You know, you're not like, oh, I'm this metal god. You know, where, you know,
No,
there are others.
Do you know what it is? Being absolutely honest with you, that was one of the things that drove the band apart. You know, it was like, oh, I'm just going to say it. You're not fucking Kronos 24 hours a day. You mean, you're my mate. You're my friend, Conrad, who I used to go to the gym with. You're Kronos on stage. Fucking leave it there.
Right.
But 24, I mean, you know, fucking 24/7. It was like, oh, come on, you know? I mean, I remember turning up when Tony Dolan first joined the band. And we went and we did some really small clubs and things like that. But on the tour, I think Al Barnes was with us, and obviously Abaddon, myself, and Tony Dolan. And we got this call to go and play this festival. I think it was a day off we had, but there was a call came through. It was like, oh, there's a slot. We've heard you're in the area. Would you play? And King Diamond was headlining.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, yeah, that would be cool. Well, we're just going to have a day off anyway. So, yeah, take the bus detour when it was in Bonn in Germany. So anyway, we turned up at this venue and, you know, we were greeted there and it was like, right, okay, you've got sound check, anything you need, you know, fucking hell. And even then, with, you know, there was myself and Abaddon, obviously original members, and then 2 non-original members, you know, but it was still, oh, fucking hell, it's Venom, you know. And I remember walking through the catering part, and it was like the fucking gunfighter walking into the saloon, you know, where the piano stops and fucking, you know, everything is like, jink, and nobody would look at it. Honestly, I'm not kidding you, nobody would look at us. We were all like, oh, fucking hell, you know. And we walked through, got to the dressing room, and everybody's, you know, walking up the corridor, and everybody's like this against the wall, you know, to let us pass. We're like, what the fuck is it with, you know? So we played on that a little bit. We got to the dressing room, and we fucking booted the door shut, you know. So the fucking door nearly came off its hinges, and but once the door was shut, we just fell into hysterical laughter. You know, it was like, what the fuck is all that about, you know? And that's what it was like for me. I mean, I didn't take the piss out of it because, you know, people, I've had, you know, and particularly on the Venom Inc. thing, now that, you know, the fans have grown up and are a lot older, I've had grown men in tears in front of me, just crying and shaking, and you know, they're going to shake a hand and they're like this, you know. And we did a meet and greet somewhere in Australia, and there was this guy turned up, and he had a clutching a bag full of Venom albums. I mean, this motherfucker was, I mean, he was huge, like 6'6" or something like that. He was a fucking big guy. He couldn't speak. Wow. And he was absolutely shaken. And he had to excuse himself at one point. Yeah, I'm really sorry, I've got to go, mate. He was a, you know, he came back, but it was like, wow. And, you know, even on stage, when we kick into some of the older Venom songs, the more obscure stuff, you know, that we've sort of brought back, you know, seeing, again, grown men in the audience just hugging each other and looking, and the tears running down their faces. But,
that's cool.
But, 2000, what was it, 2000? Oh, when was it? When did Halford rejoin Priest? 2009, 2008?
Yeah, around that time, I think. I can't remember exactly.
Anyway, the first show back with Halford at Newcastle Arena, right? I was there. Boom, ticket bought. That was it. Priest were back with Halford. Boom. I was there. I remember Scorpions finished their support set. Curtains were closed at the front. And then I was just sitting there, and there was this anticipation, you know. And I was with my ex-wife at the time. She was sitting beside me. And KK Downing's guitar tech walked on with his guitar to line check the monitors along the front. And I just fucking lost it. I was like, that was KK's guitar. That wasn't the band. I was just like, oh my God. Oh. And she was like, you okay? I'm like, yeah. Look, I'm fine, you know. But it was like, you know, but that, So I can sort of understand that.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I met Rob Halford, I was like that. I was a fucking... I've spoke to KK on the phone and we text each other every now and again. But if I ever meet the guy in person, I'll piss my fucking self. I know I will. You know, it's like, because these people, as you say, they're your heroes, you know? And to think, to think that I mean that to somebody, I understand that, you know, Ace Frehley means that to me. Right. And Kick It Downer means that to me. And fucking hell, I would love to sit down with Gary Moore and just watch him play and talk to him. And, you know, fucking hell, these people, you know, and in 1979, going to Newcastle City Hall and seeing Priest on stage, 1979, they weren't even human. They were gods. Right. They you know, it was, you know, they didn't get up in the morning and fucking make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and then have a shit and then go to the fucking... They didn't go to the supermarket and do the shopping or anything. They didn't do normal things, you know? It's only years later you discover, oh, yeah, he's actually a human being, you know? It's like, yeah, they're just people. But back then, and particularly back then as well, because 79, no internet, no fucking none of this, you know, no social media. You know, you couldn't get in touch with these people. You were lucky if you stood at the backstage entrance of the hall and waited for them to come out and try and get an autograph, you know? That was the only contact you were going to get with those people. Yeah. Well, you know, whereas now, you can message them on fucking Facebook.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's a weird... well, I mean, this is happening right now. I'll admit, I'll be the first to admit, I had 2 pints before this interview and I was pacing the floor. My wife was making fun of me. She's like, you need to chill out. Like, no, do you know who I'm talking to? I'm talking to Mantis today. She's like, you need to chill out. Like, it's fucking Mantis. Like, but I mean, you know, that's the thing. You know, it's we all have our heroes, and it's and like you said, I mean, yeah, it's cool when you this realization that we're people. We all sharing this same experience, especially now in this crazy fucked up world.
Oh yeah,
COVID world we're dealing with. And it's I don't even know what to say. It's nuts. But
no, but like you say, to think, you know, to think that I mean that much to someone, you know, like even you know, people saying that you're the reason I play guitar. I say, wow, that's I don't even know how to respond to that. You know, because I'm not one of these, you know, asking me to do a guitar clinic fills me with dread. It's like, you know, because I'm not one of these, you know, and I fucking theory and all that. It's like, fucking hell. I play with my heart and my balls and that's it, you know. It's like...
evident, which is very evident, like both on recordings and then, you know, again, I haven't seen you personally live footage. Like there's a lot of that's all you can tell. Yeah, you're playing from the heart, which is cool. Like again, I'll go back to that Bloodstock show. Holy shit! I mean, that is one of the best performances.
I think that's it. Though.
Sorry. Cool.
You know what it is? I don't like to dial it in. You know, I don't like to. You know, just. You know, like we say, phone it in. It's like, if I'm going out there, you know, we've always said, and I think it's true, and I hope it's true. It doesn't matter if we're in front of 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, or 10,000 or 100,000, you're going to get the same fucking show.
Nice.
You know, because once we get that guitar, definitely, once I get that guitar around my neck, I'm going to play the fucker. You know, that red Caparison Angelus that I've got, that has got every battle scar on the planet.
Nice.
You know, that guitar has been through the mill. It's been all over the world with me. And I will never, ever give that guitar up. Nice. It's, you know, it's a part of me. That guitar is a part of me. And when I'm playing it, it feels a part of me as well, you know.
Is that the guitar you play in the studio as well?
Yeah. That's the guitar that it recorded... Ave, it's recorded the new stuff. I also use, because the Angelus has got active EMGs. It's a very aggressive guitar. So I also use a Epiphone Carina Flying V, which is more traditional, you know. But like I've said, the new stuff, the gain is pulled right back now, you know. So more a classic crunch sound than anything else, you know. But it's brutal. It is, you know. There's more power there, definitely more power. Nice. But it's just people will have to hear it, you know. It's as simple as that.
I can't wait. So again, kind of to circle back, you released that Dead Daisies cover last week. You said you got other stuff going on with that, you know, other covers, other solos. Can we expect something soon?
Definitely in the new year. Definitely in the new year, I would think. Yeah. There's one particular song I'm working on at the minute, which is, it's an original, this one. So I'll probably do the same thing. Just put that up. But like I say, album-wise, I think I'll wait until I've got, you know, 10, 12 songs that I'm confident with. The Daisies thing will just only ever be up there on YouTube, you know, because obviously, you know, I'm not a writer, and I'm not going to go into the cover side of things where I've got to, you know, I don't want, because we've been done like that before. It's like, you know, that's why I put all their information's on the video as well, you know, whoever wrote it and all that kind of stuff. So the album will be all originals, and like I say, I think it's just going to go up on the website, you know. I mean, I can't see the benefit of a record company stepping in and going, oh, we'll put it out. The only benefit would probably be, you know, a physical copy, you know, like CD or vinyl. But then again, I know I'm really good friends with a really good vinyl company. So, you know, I might do a limited run of vinyl. Who knows? You know, there is something which is coming in the new year at some point. There's 20, which I have in my possession now, of the Zero Tolerance album. It's a vinyl. It was done for the 10th anniversary. Nice. So I'm doing a bundle. So it's a limited. There's only 20. That's it. Once they're gone, they're gone. So it's going to be a bundle with various things in. But if you go to the website, when you go to the Mantis 666 page, there's a link to hit to go to the Zero Tolerance page, and it just says coming soon, because I'm going to put a video up there and show you what you're going to get in the bundle. And there's going to be something special along with all that as well. There's going to be a chance to get something else.
Nice.
So I'm just trying to do, you know, everybody seems to be living in this online world now. So I thought, hey, you know, it's time to come out the cave, isn't it? You know, we have got the internet in the village. It's like, okay, then, right, let's do it. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Join the modern world.
So the when you do put out the rest of the solo stuff, so is Callie and Mark, are they both playing on all the tracks, or do you have other musicians?
I don't know that I've got an idea that I want to do for at least one song. Which might sound a little wacky, but years and years ago, back in England, I was guitar tutor for a scheme called Rock School. It was run by a friend called Gary. And basically what we used to do was we would go into various areas around the Northeast, and we'd take the guitars and stuff like that. And I mean, some of the areas were a little bit run down, things like that, you know, but we used to get all the kids coming in for these courses. You know, they were basically the rock kids and the goth kids, or the odd ones out at school, you know, and they found something in common. So they did a 3-month course with us. They learnt rock songs. We put them into bands, or they could form their own little bands. And we, you know, like once or twice a week, they'd all get together and have this rehearsal. So that went on for 3 months. They got an opportunity to have like a songwriting session, you know, where I would sit in with them to write their songs and things. And then at the end of the 3-month course, they got a gig at a place in Newcastle called the O2 Academy. That's got a big room and a small room. Well, we used to go into the small room, which still held, it was about 300-400 people, something like that. So we used to sell tickets, which then went on to fund the next course. So all these different areas from around the Northeast would get together on that one night, all the little bands. And, you know, it was all friends and families. It was always sold out. And it was a great night seeing some of the kids get up there. I mean, some of the kids that used to come in had real confidence issues, you know. You know, they wouldn't speak. They were just so shy. And then to see them at the end of 3 months up on stage with a guitar around their neck going like this, you know, it was an absolute joy. And some of them I'm still in touch with on Facebook, and they're all grown up now, you know, they're all grown up with beards and things like this, you know. But there's a couple of them who are really fucking good, you know. So I would like maybe to get them to guest on a song and be in the video as well, you know, because the ones that I'm thinking about have never had a chance in the music industry. You know, they've got regular jobs. And one of them in particular, a drummer, female drummer, who's really fucking good. And she's working for the NHS, like in amongst all this COVID shit at the minute, you know. So I thought I would like to do that, you know.
Cool.
You know, there's some of the kids that I used to teach, you know, and put them into the bands and stuff like that, you know, when they were fucking little kids. And now they're all grown up with jobs and things, you know, and it's, you know, there's still, you know, I still get messages from them talking about the old, oh, I really enjoyed that, you know. It's like, oh, I'm so jealous. It must be great doing what you do and all that. And I think to myself, fucking hell, you know, there's some of these kids have got so much talent. And like, I don't know if they'll ever do anything from it, but hey, why not? You know, it doesn't affect me at all, does it? You know, it's like if I've got a song and I say, right, you know, play to this, get somebody to film. I mean, fucking hell, you can do some great filming. All that, the video that I did was just done on the iPhone, you know, and then in fucking Final Cut, you know, everything was done like that. So everybody's got the capability of doing it now. So yeah, I'd like to do that for them, you know, just a one-off thing, so you know they can say, "Oh, I was on YouTube playing a song." You know, it's great, you know. Like, so just, you know, like say, giving something back at the end of the day as well, you know.
Yeah,
it's like, because you don't know where that'll lead. You know, somebody might see somebody in my video and go, "Wow, I wonder if they're available." Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? There was a girl that actually played in the Mantis band, right? In the early stages of the Mantis band, right? This girl called Charisse Osei. And she did a couple of shows. She did a show in London, and then she did a festival in Germany. After that, she went off into this little pop band, right? She is now the session drummer for Simple Minds, Brian Ferry. Fucking, she's toured the world. She was voted #1 female session drummer in the UK.
Nice.
She is doing so well. Yeah, when I seen her, I mean, you know, you get a text message from this. She was 17 when she came in to do the stuff with us. We found her through Tony. Tony knew her in London, knew her family, and you know, years later, you get a text from her. "Hey, I'm playing with Brian Ferry. Do you want to come backstage and meet with her?" It's like, fucking hell. You know what? And like I say, she's just finished the tour with Simple Minds, you know. So,
wow.
Like I say, you never know. You never know what's around the corner. You never know what's going to happen. It's like, hey, I didn't know on April the 30th I was going to die. You know, I got up in the morning, everything seemed normal. Boom, in the afternoon, that's it. You're gone. So that's, you just don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm very grateful you're still here. So. With us.
Oh, not as grateful as me.
I bet. Well, I don't want to keep you all night. This has been a delight talking to you.
That's fun.
Yeah, this is great. This is so fun. I cannot wait to see more and hear more of what you're doing with the solo work, and then obviously the Venom Inc is one of my. I love Venom Inc. So I can't wait for that follow-up album to come out. I know that'll probably be a little while from now, but I'm really excited. So So yeah, thank you so much, Jeff, for talking with me. I really, really appreciate it.
You're welcome. No
have a great
problem.
evening.
And if I can just say one more thing, and
please,
that is,
please.
you know, if anybody can just get to my website, jeffmantis.com, even if you buy one song or a fucking t-shirt with my horrible face on it, you know that it's going to help a little furry somewhere along the line. Okay.
Yeah, I'll include a link with this interview to your page as well as to Venom Inc. Yeah, people can connect and yeah, definitely buy. Everybody that's watching this, please buy this shit. It's killer, and it's for a good cause. So let's pony up some money.
Let's do it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Excellent. No problem. Thanks a lot, Victor.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Great night, brother.
Yeah, you too, man. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.